If you've ever played God of War, you'll know that Kratos' quest for vengeance against the gods of Olympus took him to the very peak of Mount Olympus and a confrontation with Zeus himself. But did you know that those same gods also had Roman equivalents who were just as revered and feared by their followers? In this series, we're going to be taking a look at some of the most powerful figures from classical mythology, exploring their origins, their domains, and the impact they had on the mortal world. Today, though, we're going to be doing something a little different and heading over to the Roman Empire to talk about Mars, the Roman god of war. So if you want to hear how Mars, the Roman god of war, compares to his Greek counterpart Ares, or just want to see what other secrets the ancient Romans kept in their own pantheons, then grab your shield and helmet and prepare yourself for today's video. To the Romans, war wasn't chaos. It was order through conquest. And their god of war? A symbol of disciplined fury. 5. Mars was a father of Rome. In Greek mythology, Ares was the son of Zeus and Hera, born on the island of Rhodes. And if we're being honest, he really didn't have the best reputation among the Olympians. But Mars's story is a bit different. You see, Mars was also the son of a sky father and an earth mother. But instead of Ares' parents being Zeus and Hera, Mars's parents were none other than the divine couple, Jupiter and Terra. That's right. Just like Romulus and Remus were said to be the founders of the city of Rome, Mars was considered to be the founder of the Roman people. It's believed that after conceiving Mars, Terra went into labor and gave birth to him near Mount Altius, and since she was a Titaness, the strongest of all giants, it only makes sense that her son would be born strong. But despite his power, Mars would end up spending much of his time down here on Earth disguised as a mortal. Now, there's a few reasons why Jupiter may have wanted to hide his relationship with Terra. For one, his wife Juno was known for being extremely jealous and quick to punish anyone who crossed her. But another reason was that it was kind of in Jupiter's best interest to keep up the appearance that he and Terra were brother and sister. See, while it's true that Earth was indeed a Titaness, she was also the mother of the primordial deities that came before the Olympians. And because Jupiter was king of the gods, it was important to keep up the image that he was the brother of both the Titans and the first gods. After all, if he wasn't related to them, who was? Number 4. Unlike Ares, Mars was respected, even revered. Mars was not only seen as the patron god of Rome, but also of strategy, intelligence, and courage in battle. While the Greeks might have had Ares, a god whose mere presence inspired panic and dread among soldiers, the Romans had Mars, whose presence brought order to the battlefield. As the Greeks viewed Ares as nothing but a bloodthirsty killer, who enjoyed nothing more than pointless acts of violence, the Romans saw Mars as a bringer of justice and civilization. To the Romans, Mars represented everything that they themselves aspired to be: disciplined, strategic, and unbreakable. That's not to say that Mars didn't enjoy the thrill of battle. In fact, he was known for being a fierce fighter. But unlike Ares, his desire for bloodshed was tempered by his intellect. To the Romans, Ares may have been a god worth fearing, but Mars was a deity worth respecting. No. 3. His temples were the first and last stop for Roman armies. Mars's temples were places of strategy and preparation, where generals would go to receive divine guidance before setting out on a campaign. One of the most famous of these temples was the Temple of Mars the Avenger, which stood in the Roman Forum near the Colosseum. It was here that the Roman general would make offerings to Mars before setting out on a campaign, begging the god of war for victory and protection. And when the soldiers returned home, they would come back to the temple to give thanks to Mars for his aid. But the worship of Mars didn't end with the Roman legions. In fact, every Roman family had a small shrine dedicated to the god of war, where they would pray for the safe return of their loved ones who were serving in the army. During times of peace, the Romans would decorate Mars's statue with flowers and greenery, symbolizing the god's connection to nature and fertility. But when war was declared, the statues would be stripped of their decorations and readied for battle. Number 2, he was a god of both agriculture and war. Although Mars was primarily known as the god of war, he also had ties to agriculture, hunting, and animal husbandry. This duality is reflected in one of his epithets, Mars, the Grouchy, which refers to the god's association with the breeding season of animals. In fact, the Romans believed that Mars was responsible for the fertility of both the land and its people. This is evident in the fact that one of his sacred places was the Lupercal Cave, the supposed birthplace of Romulus and Remus, the legendary founders of Rome. According to legend, the she-wolf that nursed the twins to health after they were abandoned was a sacred animal of Mars. The Lupercal Cave was also associated with fertility and purification rituals, which further connects Mars to the concept of rebirth and renewal. This aspect of Mars's character is also seen in his association with the month of March, which was the first month of the year to be named after him. The Romans believed that March was a particularly favorable time for planting crops and making sacrifices to Mars, as the god was said to be in a good mood during this time. And now for number 1. Number 1, Mars represented the ideal Roman, ruthless yet controlled. When you think of the Roman Empire, what comes to mind? Is it the sprawling Colosseum, the towering Pantheon, or the vast network of roads that connected the empire? How about the military might of Rome, its legions that conquered 3 continents and its generals who led their armies to victory in countless battles? Well, it just so happens that the Romans had a god for that too, Mars, the god of war. Mars was not just a deity to be feared, but respected and revered. He represented the ideal Roman, someone who was ruthless yet controlled, disciplined yet fierce. He embodied the perfect balance between order and chaos, strategy and action, control and passion. For the Romans, it was this balance that made him not just a god of war, but a god of civilization, a bringer of justice, and a symbol of their greatness. Mars wasn't the rage of battle. He was the cold steel behind every empire, and in Rome, his shadow never left the battlefield. What are your thoughts on the Roman god of war? Do you think he was a worthy opponent for his Greek counterpart? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. For more information on the Roman god of war, check out the links in the description. And if you want to learn more about Roman mythology, click here to watch our video on the origins of Rome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.